This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. Weapons of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the purge. All other weapons are restricted. Government officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the purge and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
And here we go.
Welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
What is going on, Hive? I hope everybody had a great rest of their Friday evening after our dig after dark, and their Saturday's off to a fantastic start. Got the audio coming in loud and clear. I got a couple things that I want to talk about today. One being Detective Brett Payne, how odd it is that you are handed this investigation with minimal experience. It's extremely high profile, a career maker, one might say. The young buck on the job. Show us what you got. Give it your best shot. You get this airtight narrative, and it's the most locked in Brian Koberger's guilty case of all time, is what we were told. He's convicted, or he's not convicted. I guess he is. He pleads, right? He's in prison for the rest of his life. 4 consecutive life sentences. Minimal experience, and that's the outcome. I'm sure that his career at that police department in that area is just going to explode, right? Now, I'm going to go work for the university. No, I don't want to be in the public light anymore. Interesting. Don't speculate. Don't ask questions. Just trust the process that everything was done right. Although the process has been an entire illusion. Subpoenas, NDAs, redactions. It's about as blurry as it can get. Almost as if they've turned this tragedy into an experiment. That's how I would sum it up. This does feel like an experiment. It feels like we are a bunch of lab rats as the public, that they want to see how much can they F with us? How much can these people endure? They're already just doom scrolling all day. Why not add some more confusion to it? Yeah. Now, it's time. It's been time. We've been trying to, but it's really time to take the gloves off on this. There's a lot of momentum building. There's also just a lot of there's some questions that we have to ask that are known as the forbidden questions, right? Forbidden questions. And Smixon, I'm going to go check that out real quick. I'm going to pull up the Discord. You said the last thing you put in the Hive Mind Find is relevant to this topic. It was probably last weekend. Okay, well, I will pull up the Discord. I'm going to try to find that. Only just because you said it could be relevant. I apologize, guys. I was going to go on at 11:30. I hate being late. I genuinely try as well to never be late. I try to be very prompt and tactful. I have to get a new PC. I don't know what's going on. This thing, I don't know if it's fried. I have no viruses. You know, I got the software that scans it. Everything's good. Something's going on with it. And I don't know. When I started streaming, I bought like just above average of a setup, right? Mainly, you know, with the monitor, with the mic, the camera, the actual PC. I'm wondering if I just cheaped out on that aspect of it. So, like I said, I'm getting a new studio. That might have to be my own housewarming gift to myself. So I'm sorry about that. It's annoying, you know. It's really annoying. Kind of throws off the mojo. So I apologize. All right, let me see here. Hive Mind finds. I think you're right, Smixon. I probably got too many things running in the background, or like, yeah, I need to get some good coolers. Crisis, you're chatting from my closet. What? Just saw that fly by. Yeah, if anybody has any recommendations right now, if anybody cares to know my setup, like my monitor, I have like Alienware. I have a Rode mic, and then I don't remember what the camera is, but my PC is just like it's like a gaming setup. It's like an STG Auberon, whatever it is. So I know there's way better out there, but if anybody has any experience or recommendations within a reasonable budget, because I know the second that typically I say that, they're like, oh yeah, get this one, and you go look it up. It's like, yeah, probably not going to spend that much money on a PC when I have a baby on the way. So let me go ahead and look this up. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the Hive Mind. This is a contrarian thinking live stream where we are not afraid to think past the headlines. So if you're easily rattled or if you're offended on behalf of others, you're going to hate this stream. You're going to hate me. You're probably going to not like people in this stream. However, if you're the conspiracy theorist in your friend group, you have found your people. You are amongst friends today. Like I said, we're going to be diving into Detective Brett Payne. It's a little bit odd that he has minimal experience and he was given such a high profile case. The outcome went, from a law enforcement standpoint, as clean and as crisp and as perfect as it could go, right? You got some emotions running high with the family and the court system. That's to be expected, though, right? That's to be expected. So why would you ever just bounce? And yeah, hey, Smixon, can you, Dawn, if you're, yeah, I see you, Dawn's in here still. Discord, Dawn, could you please try to find what Mr. Smixon said and DM me that, if you don't mind? That would be great. That way I can actually look at the chat. So like I said, we're going to be diving into Detective Brett Payne. Booking with B from TikTok, if anybody ever tunes into her or has seen her over there. She sent me a DM this morning. I was actually trying to get her on the stream. She is to kind of be like a surprise guest today. She has a big event for her normal job. So she did give me permission to show what I'm going to. It's a great line of thinking. I've noticed one of these things. I've not noticed both of these things that she pointed out in this video clip at 4:21 a.m. on the Linda Lane dumpster cam footage. So I have that clip, and we're going to also be diving into that. And then going into the second hour, what I plan on doing is really, really just interacting with the Hive, throwing a ton of questions up on screen. And we got some really, really exciting things coming up. Next week, I have Custody Queens off the clock. 2 lawyers that have now begun to dive into the Idaho 4 case. They had tuned in the past to myself and Outcast and a handful of other people that are looking into, or they're looking through the contrarian lens of the Idaho 4, saying, hey, this doesn't make sense. And so they just started a channel. Obviously, when people have the credibility of being lawyers and they understand the court system, I'm more than happy to help, a new channel, not only just get exposure, but I'm excited to pick their brains. And that's going to be Tuesday night. And then next week, the other exciting news is Outcast and I are finally going to collab on a live stream. So we are thinking either Thursday evening for that or Sunday night, next Sunday. Tomorrow evening, we have LA Mike and Daddy Jones for the Hive Mind Roundtable. That's at 7 p.m. Don't miss that. We're going to be in costumes. Very excited to hear what LA Mike and Daddy Jones have based on their emails and what they've kind of sent when they wanted to apply to be on the roundtable, which is the last Sunday of every month. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. So I think next month, Hive, how do you guys feel about next month if we do a roundtable for the mods? We do a mods roundtable. Shout out to Luna and UFO Dog and Discord Dawn, Robin and Beck, Mrs. Birdie, Dana or Shoe Girls helped me out a shit ton with the merch. Right? I mean, Amanda B. Like, what if we did that? That would be fun. And I just sit back and I just shut up. I just sit back. I shut up. I let those girls go crazy. They could just talk about whatever. I will just be in the background. I will be pulling up visuals, and shout out to everybody that has been not only tuning into the Hive, but to the people that have offered their help. Everybody's been absolutely incredible and amazing. Court RN said, do that once a week. Luna says, that could be dangerous. Oh, it's going to be dangerous. You get UFO Dog, Luna, and Dawn a microphone together. I can already tell. Yeah, it'll be like a Meet the Mods roundtable. So that's what we'll probably do next month. That'll be a good time. Yeah, who's going to mod that? Oh, God, I'm going to have to be in the chat. I'm going to have to mod that. No rules. The inmates are now running the prison, everybody. That's hilarious. Yes, and Marissa, glad to hear that with your, well, I guess not glad to hear. I really don't know how to word that. I saw your comment. I'd put it up on screen in the intro. Marissa's mother is out of the hospital. She's back on prison grounds. If you guys did not tune into the last roundtable, Marissa was kind enough to share her experience and her story about her mother and her father, herself and her brother. They, at one point or another, were all in prison, but her mom has been in 20 or 25 years now, wrongfully convicted for murder. Our Discord link, I'm going to plug that really quick. If you guys have not joined our Discord link, and if you'd like to look into things off stream, okay, Discord Dawn reached out to me. What, Dawn? Maybe a month and a half into me being on YouTube. And she just said, hey, Birdie, I tune in. Have you ever thought about getting a Discord? I'm like, no, I don't even know anything about Discord. It sounds difficult. I don't know what I'm doing. And she said, well, how about this? I'll start one. I'll build it, and let's see how it goes. Well, it turns out to be one of the best things that has ever happened to this channel. It's unbelievable. Everybody in there is awesome. And what you're going to do is you're going to go on your phone, and before you do what I'm about to show you next, download the Discord app on the Google Play Store, your Android, whatever their app store is called, or on your iPhone. Download the app first, Discord, DISCORD. Then go to my YouTube channel. It is the first link right here. Okay, so you're going to click subscribe, and then you're going to press this 4 more links. And this is the link that you want. I have some merch also on birdiebombshell.com. Please, if you're on TikTok, go give me a follow, Birdie_Hive Mind. I have been slacking on my Substack, but I also have an X, and I have a Facebook account and an Instagram. I've been trying to just post clips to that as well, but the Discord is unbelievable. It's a lot of fun. I'm also going to, and I've been saying this, but I'm going to go back to getting in the regular habit of going live after the lives in the Discord. So Dawn has set up, or Ray has set up something where it's like there's a stage, so I can kind of go on stage and bring somebody else up on stage. So it's not just a bunch of people talking over each other. I know that it's hard through the screen. That we can't figure that out as humans, can we? We really can't. Since COVID, since we've all had to start communicating through the screen. Since we've all had to start communicating through the screen, we just can't figure out when someone's going to talk, when they're not going to. And I just saw Luna saying, check the Mudwomps chat, which you guys want to know when I said it's going to be dangerous when I give Luna, UFO Dog, and Dawn a microphone. UFO Dog named the chat Mudwomps. I don't know what that means. Never heard of that word, but somebody said check that chat. So do you want me to show that video, ladies? Yeah. And you know what? To be honest, so Marissa, to that point, it's a skill that you might know in person where it's like, hey, I'm going to wait till they're done talking before I talk. When you're doing some sort of meeting online or a podcast or some sort of show, it is hard. It's hard. So what I do, if you wear like headphones, there's a delay in the ears. So the person that's talking, it actually takes them, like I have it set at like 0.5 to 1 second. So the delay actually comes through their headphones late. So I think on this stream, we don't really ever talk over each other very much. I think Outcast does that too. It's a little bit trippy to get used to hear my own voice in my ears as I'm talking and it's delayed. But yeah, I think it's just because the social cues don't come across the screen. And UFO Dog wants to re-emphasize, yeah, you do not want to be labeled as a mudwomp. Sorry. I don't know what it is. Okay, I have no idea what it is. Oh, that's the one that I wanted. That's what Mr. Smixon must have sent. Okay. Thank you. Let me pull that up. So it is... Donna's tuning in from Straya at 1:03 a.m. That's awesome. UFO Dog says, if you rip ass on a live stream and think it's cute, you are a mudwomp. I do not believe that I've ever ripped ass on a live stream. However, FFS Viviana, I'm convinced she did fart into her phone and extract the audio from the video to make her clips about the birdie bombs where she has a cartoon bird of myself shitting onto myself. It's remarkable what these people do. So yeah, that's a mudwomp. You know what I mean? Tinfoil hat Claire's in the vents in the heater. Just kidding. Were you in there or are you not? Marissa says, my daughter's text message notification is a fart. And as you guys know, I don't know if I just said this, but just Saturdays are way more, they're relaxed. They're not necessarily live digs, but the chat really dictates how Saturdays go. That's kind of a thing that I've been doing ever since I was over on TikTok, which if you guys do follow me on TikTok, I'm starting to post just clips from the stream, not doing as much first person type of clips because I got a strike and it doesn't fall off for about 60 more days. So if you don't follow me on TikTok, please do. Just know that the stuff that's getting posted now, it'll change once that falls off. Slide and Leiden says, does Payne have his flashlight at the U of I talking about, I see you, I see you. Seatown Finest 509, sup birdie, checking in from Walla Walla, Washington. Mudwomp, according to Mitty Witty, is a caffeine-fueled hive mod, half human, half meme, armed with a wrench, a wing, and way too much internet power. Welker Wendy's in St. Louis. You know, does that say STL? Yeah. Funny enough, when I was in St. Louis, not that anybody needs Not that anybody cares. Sometimes I'm like, gosh, why do I just start to talk before I think when it comes to like personal experience? As you guys know, my first job, I traveled a ton in the Midwest, and I had to drive everywhere because if I flew, I was under 25 at that time, so I couldn't rent a car. So I was working in St. Louis, and they had at the museum just a couple miles away from where the arch is, they had this King Tut expose. And I was alone, right? So I'm working alone. I'm doing night shift. I'm bored all day. I bought the headphones. Okay. I bought like whatever their wireless headphone things. I pressed every single button and I listened to every single like plaque that they had on the wall of information. And, you know, I'd heard about King Tut and all that stuff. Now it might be mainstream stuff that they're saying in there. I nerded out. I was there for 5.5 hours. And when I got home that weekend, I actually went and I got, you know, an entire, I don't know if you guys will see, well, not that it matters, but I got, you know, an entire like themed tattoo sleeve from it. So that's my memory of St. Louis. It was awesome. What did I do to get a strike on TikTok? Well, quite simply just existed. I existed and I had a brain. They took a clip, or I had posted a clip of mine from this stream, and they said that I was repurposing another creator's content, which is just, it's mind blowing. I don't know how that even is a thing. And then I also got reported. For calling people. What did I say? It wasn't even like a cuss word. It was like peanut brains, or it was like peanut brain, MSNPC. I don't know. The video got reported. I appealed it, but I got to go look and see what happened with that. Sundog says, I keep having to multitask while watching and listening. ADHD needs to cool today. Jane Kendall said, I've just made it back to my 6-stone weight loss, and I've put 2 pounds back on, but I've lost 3 pounds, so I'm back on track. Love that. That's awesome, Jane Kendall. That's how I feel whenever I go to the casino with Mrs. Birdie. If we ever go, it's like, all right, we're up $500. I'm going to take some bigger chances here. Okay. Now we're only up $200. So I lost $300, but I have this mindset of like I'm playing with house money, which is just a terrible mindset. But we still won $200, right? Well, hey, we're up $200. Let's go. Let's keep going. Then we go down to 0, and I'm like, all right, we're even. Why don't you go grab a drink, hon? And I'm gonna go grab, you know, another $100 out of the ATM. And then we're down 100 by the time we leave. Every single time. So, yeah, they can't handle the truth. I did nerd out. All right, so let's get into it. I have this clip coming up here from Booking with B over on TikTok. Now, this is at 4:21 a.m. on Linda Lane dumpster cam footage. She had sent me a screenshot that says this. I don't have the screenshot. I sent it actually in the Mudwap champ. She said, tell me you see Murphy run across the street at the end and someone in all black is chasing him. Has anybody ever seen this before? So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play this. I want you to, where my cursor is up here, I have a few different filters on this. Okay. So it's going to loop a couple of times. This is the original. And then I have a night vision, I have a negative, and then I just have a brightness filter. Okay. So you're going to look up here, and you've always seen like, a kitty kind of running across the stairs or wherever it is. This looks like a dog. But you also start to see somebody right back here. So kind of keep your eyes fixed on this triangle area. And it's a little bit blurry, not just because we're zoomed in, but I'm fully convinced that this film has been manipulated. So here we go. This is the next filter. This one, you'll just see the dog pretty good. Yep. Here's the night vision. Now, again, I know people have said it's a cat. I'm not disagreeing. I have the footage for us to pull up, and we're gonna watch it. We're gonna see if we can find it. Do a little bit better of digging. Yeah, that's Fiddlesticks. That's Fiddlesticks. It is a long tail because Murphy's what is it? Murphy is a doodle, a labradoodle, something like that. They typically have longer tails though, unless you clip them, which I don't know if anybody clips their dog's tails. Haven't, so I guess I don't know what it looks like. There's a cougar on the wild. If Moscow already was not the biggest portal of hell, I remember people saying like, "Oh my God, there's a cougar out. There's a bobcat. It's flying across the screen. Look at it. They're." Well, at least my mouth was closed on that one. Christ. Thank God. PTSD from that. And what I was saying is that if Brian Koberger won't get you, the Bobcat will get you. And it reminds me of Talladega Nights where Ricky Bobby has to get into the car to show that he's able to drive fast because there's a kilo of Colombian Bam Bam taped underneath his car that his dad put. And he called the cops on him, but it's really just Lucky Charms. And he goes, "Don't try to snort those." Yeah, come on over to YouTube, Smixon. And if you are on X, here is my my username for YouTube is up on the screen now. Please come over and join us in the Hive on YouTube. I was cross streaming on X and YouTube. I'm also thinking about starting to cross stream on Rumble just as a fallback, but right now those are the two that I use. So we are now officially just streaming on YouTube. So it very well it could be a cat. Again, I respect the way of the thinking of like, what if that's Murphy? I don't know. I mean, Murphy can teleport, right? Oh, that's Detective Mowry. Detective Mowry says it's a cat burglar. The Bobcat was in their news a couple of days ago. The Bobcat was not actually seen on this footage though, right? I thought people were kind of trolling about that, or it was like a speck of dust that they're like, look at how fast it is. There's no way there's an actual Bobcat on the Linda Lane footage, is there? I know people speculated on it, but that's not been confirmed. Yeah, Mr. Smixon, I know. What's up, Verity Leanne? It's a pretty username. Yeah, either way, who would be running and are they running after it? I have not seen that, no. But I can help with the video adjustment for sure. Bobcats do not have long tails like that. Cougars can sound like birds chirping. That's weird. Murphy was in a truck during the attacks on Linda Lane, Mimi says. Mamau 20. Mama W 20 says, yes, there was a bobcat there. Bubbly always said there was a bobcat or a mountain lion. That's right. I couldn't remember who had said that. But I think Bubbly was showing like a filtered look, right? I'm not sure. What's up, Big Forehead, Big Dreams? An ex roundtable member. Mimi says, yes, Tommy showed it clearly. Cougars can also sound like Jennifer Coolidge. You guys are hilarious. I love these Saturday lives. Sometimes it's just good for the soul to get on here and talk openly and just hang out. You know, I like to do temperature checks every now and again. Do you type of one if you guys kind of like the slower paced? Obviously, we have plenty of deep dives and fast paced, but I feel like on Saturday midday, it's a good time to do it. True to it says wild animals typically avoid cars and activity. That's true. Okay, yeah. The Dark Diaries says it makes me want a hot dog real bad. Jennifer Coolidge. What? Gabby Girl's making homemade biscuits and gravy while listening. That's awesome. Mitty Witty says decompressing is a must to maintain sanity, a thriving mental space. I agree with that. No, I know. Okay. Full transparency. I've heard the name Jennifer Coolidge, but like in my head, I didn't know that was her. That's why I started laughing when I looked it up. I'm like, I know that name is, an actress, but I'm like, what does she look like again? So that's why I started laughing. Amanda B hit a car, says, tell that to the deer that jumped in front of my car. Has anybody here ever, unfortunately hit a deer? You got to keep your head on a swivel. Like even up north, we got some bears, by us that you got to keep your head on a swivel for. UK Kaylee says, MILF, MILF, MILF. You've hit many deer? Yeah, they'll tear your car up. Redman says, I have. They tore my car up. Nobody's NBA says, I wrecked a big-ass elk on my truck I had for 2 days. Oh. Did it total it? I can imagine. An elk? Wow. Shoe Girl says, I've hit one in Spokane going 70. Holy shit. Have you guys ever seen that video clip of the Formula One car that hits a deer during a race? Has anybody ever seen that video? Yeah, this shit's crazy. Viewer discretion. It's not graphic. It's just like, wow. It'll play it slow motion. Holy shit, dude. That thing got sent. Watch it in real speed. That's crazy. Terrible timing. I'm actually surprised that, maybe not. I mean, I guess those things are super low. I mean, I wonder what's going through that driver's head, like right at this moment. Yeah, someone said that thing got yeeted. Yeet. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, yeah, I'm surprised they didn't go through the car. I mean, I wonder if that thing lived. I feel like with the kind of like those stick legs, are those fragile or are those stronger? You know, deer, there's people that when they hunt, I mean, they'll find deer with bullets in them, which I don't know if anybody does eat any kind of meat that they go and hunt, but one thing that like my dad was always particular about was like, don't mix if you hunt on your own land and you know what these deers are typically feeding on, okay, don't go and mix the meat or the venison with everything else. Don't get a blend back. Have them do only your deer. I don't know how many people know that, but like if you take it to where they process it for the meat, they'll just put them all in, they'll blend it for people, like from a efficiency standpoint. Some people don't care, but if you do care, where it's like whether no matter what it is, make sure that they're not doing that. They'll just kind of assume that you don't care if you don't say it. At least at the couple places that we used to go. The other thing too is Mrs. Birdie and I, what we've started doing is we buy like a quarter cow, and we got you can pick out what kind of cuts you want. And I don't know what the exact price is now. It's pretty reasonable, and for two people, we had a full freezer for damn near the entire year. And you know, we'll still go out one night a week, maybe to go grab dinner, but we didn't have to get anything from the store for so long. What's up, Chris Weiss? Good to see you. Oh, Sundog says your husband got a Challenger and the deer totaled it. Slide Line says I'm from the city. I don't deal with deer. This is from Mr. Smixon. Are you in here? Is this the right video? This one right here? The drug trafficking and murder with special forces with Seth Harp. Hang on, Mimi. Story time. Mimi says, Birdie, I got attacked by a giant buck. Thank God my boyfriend tackled him. Wow. Was the buck like on top of you and your boyfriend came in and you're just like, holy shit, it's Jason Bourne. Like, what was that reaction like? I'm sure the adrenaline was extremely high. That's terrifying. I remember I went to Belize and we went hiking and we had a guide. It was just the three of us. It was this guide. He didn't speak any English. And we were walking through the woods. I mean, he spoke some English, but not, enough for guiding us. Actually, I think it was like a rubber tree, which is interesting that we saw. But we're going through this thing, and I started asking about like big cats. And I'm like, you ever see? And he's like, yeah, we see panthers. I'm like, what do we do? And he goes, if you see them, if you see the panther, it's because they want you to see them. If you see any kind of big cat in a jungle, it's probably too late. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen the video of the cougar with the hiker. And I'm going to play Mr. Smix's video. But now my brain is, again, just squirrel, bobcat, cougar. This is the most terrifying shit I've ever seen in my life. I mean, this is terrible. I would shit a golden brick. Look at this. Oh. 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 You.
Holy face.
he turns the camera. He turns the camera. It gets better. But dude, you can hear this shit in his voice. You can hear this. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Brandon. I mean, I'd start like making whatever noise that I could make too. Don't your back on a cat either. Even if you have a house cat, those little fucks will get you if you turn your back on them. Don't turn your back on it. See this thing display its power. It'll send a chill through your spine. I mean, pucker fast.
Go away. No.
Dude. All right. Holy fuck. I have goosebumps. Sorry for my language. I got to get better about that. I've been letting my...
Go eat your babies.
Hang on. Lisa Marie, top dog for the...
Oh, damn it. Okay. You're a scary kitty cat. Holy no, go away. Go away.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's a no from me, dog. Holy hell. That's insane. So, that guy gets the top dog award for not only getting an epic video, he's simultaneously filming, not tripping, walking backwards, really not panicking, talking shit, keeping his mind going. He's able to pick up rocks. He never turns his back on it. Guys, that's honestly extremely impressive. That is God watching over him. That is either instinctual. He remained so calm, as SoCal Deb said, given this situation. I mean, it's very easy to Monday morning quarterback from behind the screen. I try to not do that when I host. I'm trying to put myself in these people's shoes, but it's like that. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if I'm staying that calm. Yeah, UFO Dog says that guy's definitely a badass. I am surprised that, I mean, so he said he was going on a run. I still feel like you got to keep something on you. If it's not a weapon, like a mace can, I don't know, something. Yeah, he's got sphinxter dexterity for sure. Yeah, he should have been running with cooked sausage in his pocket the entire time. Why is that like a Scooby-Doo thing? Why do I feel like it's Scooby-Doo? They would just be like, drop the sausage, Scooby. Drop the sausage. Ruh-roh, Raggy. You know, something like that. Like, I don't know. But I saw somebody say, if I had a steak, I would have thrown it the opposite way. Well, yeah, who's hiking with a cooked steak? You're hiking and eating steak at the same time? Like, I would... It's a great thought. It would work. Kate, EST84 says, good job. I live in the UK because that would be how I died. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. And then Lisa was like, pss, pss, pss. Brian Koberger carried bear spray. Bronx Tail True Crop, good to see you. Maybe even a little bit of a whistle. Brian Todd says, I always have beef jerky. Interesting. You smell like beef and cheese, Brian Todd. That's so scary. An air horn. Beauty for Ashes says, this, first of all, this quickly turned into a nature discussion. So, like I said, that's what these Saturdays are for. But Beauty for Ashes 262 says, wait, 262, is that a Milwaukee or Wisconsin area code? We had a bear walk 15 feet from our campsite. I grabbed my phone and my husband was telling me to grab the gun. Yeah. Hang on. I'll go jogging with this. I'll go. And then this thing probably mauls me, puts the squeeze part in its mouth. I'm dead and mangled on the trail and it's breathing heavy and you just hear. That would be, and my video would have probably continued to record, and that's how I go out. Like, you know, if this was me, they'd be like, does that guy have a clown horn? A clown horn? That's what he got? If it worked, clown horn sales go through the roof. There's no doubt. You guys see Birdie start hiking. My lives are now me just hiking in very densely populated with cougar areas with a clown horn out in the woods, trying to bait in these cougars to see if it works on live, like Bear Grylls or something like that. I go out there and I try to defend myself against wildlife with miscellaneous items. Clown horn, beef jerky. I could show I could show a video of Viviana. That could also work. Right. There's things that I'm just going to go out and I'm going to try to prove. You'd call your dad if you were pretending. Yeah. Lori Woody says, my sister and I were camping and a bear came in a dark camp and we just sat there and stared at him. My luck, I'd spray the bear spray and there would be a down wing. No, you'd point it backwards on accident. Flowerface says, I live in Gloucestershire in UK, and we have a big cat in the area. Yeah, honk to spook off older women and big cats. Yeah, that's probably a good idea, Bronx Tail True Crab. I've had her blocked too. It's just, it is what it is. I don't care. I'm over it. Like I said, we're battle hardened here. I just say we're hard in here. No, we're battle hardened in here. That's not good. That will not be a defense that I go out into the forest and try. I can tell you that much. Why does that happen? Oh. All right, let's watch Mr. Smixon's video here quick. We're probably not going to watch the entire thing of this, but this is interesting. Or it looks interesting. I have not seen this. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play this. I'll put this full screen.
And tribal group that resists U.S. military occupation. These secret units, whose very existence is not officially acknowledged and whose vast budgets are hidden, number some 70,000. Harp, in his book, details how these units are beyond scrutiny and accountability, how they swiftly went rogue when deployed overseas, murdering and torturing with impunity, as well as ingesting and trafficking prodigious quantities of drugs. These elite soldiers returned to the U.S. not only with the skill sets of professional killers, but layers of trauma and rage that fuel acts of violence, including murder, sometimes of their wives and partners. Harp documents dozens of unsolved killings and suicides, some of which appear highly suspicious, in and around Fort Bragg, where units such as Delta Force are based. There were 105 deaths at the base between 2020 and 2021 alone. His book details how military alliances with the world's leading drug dealers, especially in Afghanistan, where the U.S.-backed puppet state was the world's preeminent heroin cartel, led many in these units to engage in distribution and sale of vast quantities of narcotics up and down the eastern seaboard. He chronicles the corruption that came with the deliveries of vast sums of money in shrink-wrapped pallets to buy allegiances in Afghanistan, deliveries that saw some of these soldiers pilfer funds, billions of dollars worth, and come home with tens of thousands of dollars taped to their bodies, money often used to jumpstart drug dealing. Catherine Lutz, in her book Homefront, her 2002 study on Fayetteville, where Fort Bragg is located, calls the town, quote, a dumping ground for the problems of the American century of war and empire, where the wounds of war have pierced most deeply and are most visible. Along with narcotics, elite soldiers sell pilfered weapons from military bases on the black market, sales that have amounted to billions in lost dollars. Joining me to discuss his book, The Fort Bragg Cartel, and the Rise of These Secret Armies is Seth Harp. First of all, it's a great book. It does what all great, it's a very well written, what all great works of nonfiction should do, which is take a microcosm and extrapolate outwards to explain a cultural or social milieu. I can't praise it enough. It's also just a great read. So let's begin, Seth, with defining for us Delta Force itself, how it was formed as a product, of course, of the Vietnam War, and what it does.
Thanks, Chris. Delta Force is what's called a special mission unit, which are secretive and elite units specially drawn from the special forces of the Army Special Forces or Green Berets, also the Army Rangers. It's open to service members from all branches, but primarily draws from those Army formations. So it's kind of a higher tier to the Special Forces, or the most elite tier of the Special Forces, and it's entirely dedicated to covert actions.
So, okay, all right. This is definitely going to be going down into the weeds. It's an hour-long interview. I'm gonna watch this, and I can clip parts of it. But they go through a multitude of stuff. But here's this military psyops section. This is about 4 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and just play the military psyops part. Okay. But this video, if you guys do want to go watch it on your own, it is right here: drug trafficking and murder in the Special Forces with Seth Harp, the Chris Hedges report. Here's the channel, right there. Go ahead, give them a subscribe and a like for showing it on the stream. All right.
I'm gonna just to move on, but you write a lot about the blowback in terms of domestic violence, the wife killings at Fort Bragg, and there was a series of killings. I think what was it, 6 spouses or something, or murdered, or I can't remember the number. But then, of course, the Fort Bragg, and in particular, the Delta commanders just go into overdrive to exonerate everybody from these killings, most of them, and cover it up. And they actually begin to spin bizarre theories that the anti-malarial drug Malefiquin, which is Lariam, which I took in the southern Sudan, is to blame. And the media buys it. I mean, one of the kind of minor.
Wait, what did he just say? That there's a drug to blame for this? I missed that.
Malarial drug Malefiquin, which is Lariam, which I took in the southern Sudan, is to blame. And the media buys it. I mean, one of the kind of minor subtexts of your book is just how easily the media is just spun by these people repeatedly.
Yeah, the Special Forces are expert in psychological operations, and psyops are a big part of what they do. Now, by law, those psychological operations have to be directed at foreign populations. They can't be directed at American citizens.
I'm sure they've never done it on American soil, though. Ever. Or maybe do they then go to foreign soil and they say, hey, we're going to teach you and we're going to allow you to come and do this on American soil so that we have plausible deniability. It wasn't the U.S. government doing it against us. No, it was Mossad. No, it was the Russians. It was China. It's North Korea. It's Rocket Man. Don't you know? It's not us. It's not us. Don't look over here at where our black budget spending goes. We will never tell you. Shut up. Go back to work. Let us censor you. Let us just destroy any last bit of self-competence that you feel that you have. There is an invisible enemy. We are the only people that can see it. So trust us, bro. That is what we are doing. We are protecting you. It is for the greater good. No, not at all. Insert clown horn.
But not only is there a lot of bleed back in the age of the internet, but also these guys, when they're dealing with the media, they sort of naturally inhabit that role and that ability to spin and manipulate, and they're quite capable of controlling media coverage of their operations through selective leaks and selective disclosures. In the case that you're talking about in 2002, when four Army wives stationed at Fort Bragg were murdered in short succession by their husbands, all of whom, or nearly all of whom, were Special Forces soldiers who had just returned from Afghanistan. That looks really bad. That could cause a call into question, the relationship between American militarism and certain forms of blowback, especially violence against women. But instead of that, some senior officials from Delta Force got on the phone with credulous reporters from UPI and other wire services and newspapers of record, and told them that what had happened was that Lariam, this malaria drug that they had taken, caused these guys to lose their mind and become paranoid and aggressive and in fact homicidal. This is a ridiculous theory. There's no
I agree in this context, but I do think that why do they think people would buy that? That's the other part. So they're that good at this spin that they'll make this claim that, oh, this drug, it makes you a maniac, it makes you homicidal. Well, why are people going to believe that? Is that because people are going to be like, there's probably drugs out there that do that to us? Because that's probably good for human consumption, right? Well, it's a joke for this specific medicine if you know it. But why is that bought by people? Yeah, why are they testing meds on our military? Betty Blue 908 says, we love our country, but not everything our government does. PSYOPs, DV, corrupt, LE, etc. We want to be correct. Yeah, trust me. I live in America. I love America. Right? Again, I know this. Sometimes I hate saying this quote just because people get triggered when you say the word Donald Trump. Okay. It didn't matter. I don't care if it was Obama, if it was Biden, if it was Bush, if it was, anybody. When Donald Trump was saying, why are you meeting, or somebody was asking him, why are you meeting with Putin? He's a killer. And I just thought it was interesting how, he said back to this reporter, the person interviewing him, he says, oh, do you think we're so innocent? You know what I mean? I'm just glad that somebody, it doesn't matter who it came from, said that, right? We're not innocent. It's not that we are the people that are doing it. Trust us. We don't like what our government does abroad many times. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't, put a boot in someone's ass if they try to mess with us. But it's this concept of we can't just be righteous all of the time and never make mistakes and not address them. And not address them with some PR spin on it too. That's the other thing too that we need to really focus in on is, if you're wrong, just say you're wrong, address it, and move on. Don't say you're wrong, address it, and then downplay it. You know what I mean? I hope you guys get my point in what I'm saying with that, because it's important to understand that it's not anti-military, it's not anti-cop, it's not anything. No. We've really messed up sometimes. And you just got to own it. You have to own it. Have some accountability and let it be, right? Let it be. One of the best things that my mom actually told me about when you're able to vote, she was like, just, when you think about who you're voting for, you have to remember they're not your dad, they're not your brother, they're not your significant other, right? They're your president. And that's stuck with me, right? You don't have to have a personal relationship with them. It has to be somebody who's running the country. And I think that also is something that the media doesn't lean into enough. You cannot like people. Being president, guys, they were writing shit with a feather and candlelight. Okay. What did we have? What was our population at that point with George Washington? Okay. We got what, 330 million people, or whatever the population now is in the United States, which let me look that up actually. Current So we have 340.1 million as of 2024 people. You know, it's like being president is an impossible job. So is it an outdated system? I don't know. Anybody who wants to be president probably shouldn't be president. It's become this popularity contest, right? It's who can talk better. I don't know what the fix is to it. It seems like it would be quite a simple fix, and that is rather. But then it's just such a rigged game. You need so much money. You got to sell yourself out to get the funding for a campaign. It should just be like, I'm serving this role for my community for however many years. If I get reelected, up to 8, and then I go back to my normal life. I can write a book. I can make money on that. Absolutely. It's an intense job. People deserve to it. But, you know, I can speak at stuff on it. It's gotten to be too much of a career. I think that if we got rid of, politicians being a career, the reason why I say that is, in my opinion, it's an ever-flowing aspect of our world, right? People who got popular in politics, in the 70s and the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, I don't know if that's still popular today, but you made your bed during those decades with who funded campaigns, who got your name out there initially. Now you're loyal to them. That's also human nature. But I don't know what the fix is. It just has to be something where you put a common person, like common folk, needs to go and do it. And then common folk function within what was designed to be the system. I just want our system to work. I'd be curious if people talk about the founding fathers and stuff and what they wrote. For example, people bring up the Second Amendment a lot. People will say, well, they said the right to bear arms. Okay, whether you hate or you love the Second Amendment, I think that was smart on their end to not specify. So there's things that even back then they knew technology would advance, but they did not say freedom of thought. That sounds trippy. Well, you got Elon Musk trying to, put Neuralink in everybody's head. He's not trying to put it in everybody's head, but I'm saying, who knows what a push down the road could be if that starts to work out. So then, well, does that get around the Constitution? I don't think they say anything freedom of thought. They say freedom of speech. Would that go to the Supreme Court? What are people going to rule on for that? And I think, actually, Brandon, you just summed that up. Common folk aren't attracted to that sort of power. You're right. That is the rub. Big Forehead, Big Dream says career politicians are one of the core problems in this country, in my opinion. It also, what career politicians end up forcing society to do is they make you also commit loyalty to them for decades, right? Because if you're a career politician, think about it as if you're going through schooling and you're playing a sport. Oh, you're a true freshman. Then, again, you can extrapolate this out over a handful of decades and years. But now you're a 5th-year senior. You're about to be a Heisman Trophy winner. Well, everybody that knew you as a true freshman when you were, getting scrub time on the punt team, they're going to still be loyal to you. And now you're about to be the Heisman winner. But whatever you had thought, does it change that much? Are you able to be fluid? I don't know. I don't feel like we've seen, no matter what you believe, that big of an example of this fluidity. I'm not a political person in the aspect of, I think I've said this 3 million times. Left wing, right wing, they're on the same wings of a bird, nosediving into Satan's gooch. We are going off the rails on a train car that is lit on fire, off a cliff into the abyss. If anybody likes the way of the world that it's been going the last X amount of years, I don't know what to say. Does anybody like the path, no matter who's in charge, that we're going down? Does anybody? we, as the people, are continuing to lose power. We are continuing to have less and less of, an inside look and inside baseball into what's really happening. We have to decipher stuff. And then while we go and we decipher these things, we get called crazy. We actually get shit on. We get shut down. There is no transparency. There's this illusion of transparency. There's this illusion of, yeah, you know what? Anybody can go and do this. If you work hard enough, you can go and you can make it. No, guys, I'm a positive person. I work really hard. I believe in discipline. And I think that if you are disciplined and you have a goal in mind, you can accomplish it. There are some things in this world right now, especially in the United States, that you can't just work hard and stay disciplined and go and get it. You can't. Okay? My wife and I were very blessed in the fact that we both, so Mrs. Birdie owns her own business, right? I have a sales job. I'm blessed that I'm lucky that I'm talented in that. So I can go out, I can earn commission. You guys, these things that are occurring for I've talked to my mom. If they were making, not that it's about making money, because it's not like we're not rich. We're not rich at all. Okay. But it's like, if they were even making what we are combined, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad worked as a gun salesman, and we went on a trip to Disney every year. I got new cleats for baseball. My brother and I got to go pick out a baseball bat to share once a season. It seems like now these normal little things are very difficult to do, and they're getting harder to do. I'm not a negative person or a pessimist, and I'm not trying to blackpill anybody. I'm not trying to get up here and be on a soapbox. Rather, can we go take what is ours? Like, goddamn, I'm so sick of, I don't ever see the government in my life. When my ass is getting up at the crack of dawn, I don't ever see the government, ever. I see them on payday when they take 38.9 or 39.8% of the check. I didn't see them, driving 3 hours across the state to go in service with me. But they'll make damn sure they get their cut of that work. And I'm not trying to say that you need to tax these people more or no taxes or whatever it is. Can we just know what the money goes towards? Honestly, can we just not be lied to, for God's sakes? Can you put somebody in there that if you dig into their background and they have, one or two things that they've said in the past of, that's a little bit questionable, but there's an explanation. Hey, when I said that, I was single, I was 25, my entire life's on social media. There's nothing else. But now, I'm married. I have a pregnant wife. My viewpoints have changed a little bit. Maybe, whatever. Can we have a reasonable person? Is it that hard to be reasonable in today's day and age? Well, it is hard. You want to know why it's hard to be reasonable? Because if you're a reasonable person, you don't get into those positions of power. They don't want reasonable people in those positions. They want unreasonable people. They want people who are power thirsty, attention starved, will do and say anything to keep that power. And we are the ones that pay the bill of it. We have to front them that money. It's not just an American problem either. I know we have people in UK, Australia, and Scotland. I mean, it's everywhere, guys. It's a big worldwide globalist mafia. It's corrupt. And the hardest part about living in this day and age right now is that we see it at our fingertips. We have our phone attached to us. And we don't need the news to report it to us because there's enough people with that device in their hands. We'll get it directly from the source. We can see it. They just recorded that. Here's what we just saw. Here's what we all think. No. But what formerly known as Z just said, they're dividing us. Why? Why? Well, they know probably that our education system has kept our IQ low on purpose. They don't teach us any real life skills. And we know that they can be emotionally triggered because we've told them their entire life they have, this wrong with them and that wrong with them. Here's another pill to go shove down your 4-year-old's throat for this problem that our food did to them, or that radiation for the 5G or whatever's coming through the screen. Yep, here's another pill. And we know that if we combine that for, K through 12, by the time they become an adult, they're not going to have any social skills. And they're going to turn their TV on. They're going to nod along. They're going to clap along. And they're going to say, oh, my God, they're telling me I should hate people that think the other way of me. I should hate them rather than, no, let's embolden you to go and challenge them. Challenge them. Bring the receipts. We need heated debate. We need heated debate. We don't need heated sound bites. Heated debate. I get fired up. I say my point and then I shut up. I shut up after I say my point. You respond to it without me interrupting you, without some dumbass moderator interrupting me, without a bell ringing, without having to get it done in a minute. I don't even know if there's any saving this other than the fact that it might just have to crash and burn. We might have to hit rock bottom if we're not there. Stop not trusting your gut. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. You can do anything that you want to do. I can do anything that I want to do. Not one person in here should have the excuse of, I don't know how to do that. With all of the technology at our fingertips between AI, YouTube, everybody that's willing to help each other at this point. I've said for some time now, this is on a completely different note. I've gotten about 12 emails over the course of the time since I've started streaming. People have said, Bertie, can you teach me like how to do this with Canva or that? Absolutely. I'm going to do that. I'm going to host, a stream that's free. No gatekeeping. Here are the tools that I use. Here's how I do it. Here's how I set it up. Here's what you're going to need. And if you want to go and you want to stream and you want to be able to put your voice into a mic to come through the speakers, there should be no reason that anybody's afraid to stop you. Why? If you're good enough at what you do, people will watch you. Hence the reason why I don't talk about other creators. I don't talk bad about it. I'm always propping their stuff up. I'm not worried about it because I don't know how else to say it other than that my goal in my own mind is crystal clear. I want to do this because I enjoy it. I want to do this as if I'm talking to you all in person around a dinner table or a bonfire, or we're hanging out up at the cabin, half in the bag, drinking beers, and we're shooting the shit. If you are somebody that hates what I'm saying right now, that is okay. That's okay. There's no skin off my back. I'm not going to dox you. I'm not going to go and shit on you. Is that because I'm soft? Is that because I'm just weak and I don't care? No. If anything, it's like I have better things to do. Okay? I'm trying to wake people up about the Idaho 4 case. Yet, I don't know if I could even say that that's all it's about at this point. I'm trying to wake people up that our own government does psychological operations on us. And even if it's not some psyop, they have the ability to do sophisticated operations that we're not taught about. They have stuff that exists that we don't get taught about. We only know what we're allowed to know. Why is that so hard for everyday people to wrap their head around? It's like, get up, dust off, recalibrate yourself, and go to work. Go to work on what you enjoy doing and what you're passionate about. Be yourself. Nobody else is you. There's not another person in this world that is able to do what you do, the way that you would do it. And if you're, I'm going to use social media for an example. Please understand, you should never be nervous about, obviously you want to think before you speak from a standpoint of like, on a hot take, there's a time and a place, right? Or there's a time and a place to rant, like what I'm doing now. People's opinion of you only lasts as long as it takes for them to scroll by. That's it. Think about yourself when you're scrolling and you see something, you judge them a little bit. By the time you watch the next video, are you even thinking about them? No. It's the same thing for you. So don't be afraid of it. If you got something to say it, and say it with your chest. Bring the receipts. Stand up for yourself. You know, if you're in the hive, I have your back. Everybody else in here has your back. I know you guys got my back. We're not going to win if we don't address this. You know, we're not. We're fighting an uphill battle. We are doing the definition of insanity, which is let's do the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result. No, it's time to change. How do we change? We give ourselves the right to say, no. No. We don't agree with that. We might not agree with each other, but we sure as hell disagree more with you. That's the change that we need. We need people to step up and be a leader. A leader, a selfless leader, servant leadership. That's what we need. We need servant leadership. And that will conclude my rant and this stream for this Saturday. I hope you all have a great rest of your Saturday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tomorrow evening at 7 p.m., we are going to have the roundtable. That is going to be LA Mike and Big Daddy Jones. I'm stoked for that. We're going to be in costumes. It's going to be epic. Don't miss that. I hope you all tune in for that, and I will see you then. Cheers.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.